Welcome to the Disneyland Beat, where our toes tap to a Disneyland drum.
And we always whistle while we work.
The COVID-19 pandemic has closed Disneyland for over a year at this point, and has cost the company billions in lost revenue, even while they made great strides in their streaming media platforms.
Sadly, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure will mark the one-year anniversary of the closure of the parks due to COVID-19 on Sunday, March 14th. But on the upside, California theme parks are on track to be allowed to reopen on April 1st under revised state guidelines, and Disneyland is confirmed to open in late April. Yay!
Today we're going to talk over the changes that we can expect to see in the park and that we think will shape the park for the foreseeable future.
Like, subscribe, and stick around.
Hey everybody, this is TC.
And Amy from the Disneyland Beat. This last week, Orange County dipped out of the purple and into the red, so it's possible that the county will be down even another tier by late April, allowing an even higher than anticipated capacity and the chance for out-of-state visitors to join in on the fun.
People have been crunching the numbers, and every day that Disneyland is closed, the Walt Disney Company loses out on about $10 million in daily revenue, or an estimated $4 billion over the past 400 days, according to financial analysts.
But it's bigger than just Disneyland, of course. Many surrounding businesses that rely on the crowds have also suffered. The year-long closure of Disneyland and DCA cost the Southern California economy $23 million a day, more than $9 billion, according to an economic impact study.
The Disneyland Resort had about 32,000 cast members working at the resort before the pandemic. But when they closed, they had to lay off about 11,500 employees, and they furloughed thousands more. And we're just thrilled that with the impending opening, at least 11,000 cast members have been recalled to work, and they're getting retrained as the Southern California parks prepare to reopen.
Disneyland and Disney California Adventure drew an estimated 28.5 million visitors in 2019. State-mandated COVID-19 attendance capacity limits means only a fraction of that total will be able to show up in 2021, no matter how creative Disney gets.
Once we get back inside the parks, there's going to be a lot of familiar sights and activities to take part in, as well as plenty of coronavirus-related changes. Between the two parks, they've added 1,000 hand sanitizing stations, 2,000 plexiglass dividers, and 20,000 COVID-19 related signs and markers.
The Disney theme park experience will evolve as the Anaheim parks reopen in phases, first at 15% capacity, then 25%, and then 35%. Though again, due to a milestone in vaccines made by California, it is possible that Disneyland may be at 25% by the time the park opens.
Now, when Disneyland is going to return to full capacity remains unknown. It could be as early as this summer, it could be late 2021, or it could be even early 2022. The pace of Disneyland's reopening will continue to depend on the state's progress in battling the pandemic.
Something that may be here to stay for the long term, but will certainly be the case for the short term, is that all visitors will be required to make advance reservations online. And it's going to be months before everybody who wants to is able to get back in the park.
Perks that park regulars have come to rely on, like extra magic hours, fast passes, park hopping, and single rider lines, they could be suspended when the parks initially return. Disney has already confirmed that extra magic hours, magic mornings, and fast passes are going to be suspended for an unknown period of time.
Extra magic hours allowed guests who bought a 3-day pass or more to come into the park an hour early before the gates open for the rest of the crew. Magic mornings for hotel guests were even better as you had more offerings, but the idea was the same, to get into the park an hour before everybody else.
And though it has had its critics from the day it was implemented, with many a valid argument, most of us have come to rely on FastPass to make the most of our day inside the parks. With the social distancing requirements slowing the capacity of the attractions, it is likely you will have to make some hard choices in 2021 as to what rides you want to ride in any given day.
Disney World guests have been reporting that with the sold-out spring break crowds, no fast pass, and shorter park hours, wait times can limit you to only being able to ride 6 or 7 attractions in a day, especially at the most popular parks like Hollywood Studios. And 35% capacity is still pretty crowded at those huge parks.
And while Walt Disney World has very fun character cavalcades, they're really all designed to not draw crowds, so parades, fireworks, stage shows, and nighttime spectaculars, we expect those to all be suspended upon reopening. So if you come to the parks in 2021, the focus is going to be on the attractions, dining, and shopping experiences.
Disney has vowed to use the pandemic crisis as an opportunity to reinvent the annual pass program and expand dynamic ticket offerings and pricings. We think that we'll see the new day ticket and ticket package offerings before we learn what the new membership offerings will be.
capacity constraints will allow Disneyland to test ways of controlling crowd sizes using flexible pricing, like charging even more for tickets on busy weekends and holidays and less during the middle of the week in the off-season.
Getting ticket and pass prices and options right is a difficult task. If you're Disney and you want to increase profits, you also want something for everybody, and you don't want to price everybody out of the park. You know you've got a lot of pressure on you to both create options for the locals who have enjoyed relatively low pass prices and create more space for the out-of-town visitors and traditional ticket buyers.
Some rides and attractions could remain closed due to capacity restraints and time restrictions when the parks reopen. And we've gone over which rides in detail in former videos, so please remember to check out our library of about 150 videos at this point. There's a lot to see.
Outdoor rides will be able to have fewer restrictions than indoor attractions. Plexiglass dividers in attraction queues and even in some ride vehicles will help promote social distancing.
Disneyland plans to use a host of old and new digital tools to help manage crowds when the parks reopen. From contactless security checks, advanced dining reservations, and virtual attraction queues, to mobile food ordering, mobile wait lists, and scan-and-go shopping.
Character interactions are going to be different for a long time. Hugging Mickey and Minnie will be prohibited when the parks return for health and safety reasons. Character meet-and-greet photo ops will happen, and Disney will be creative about it, but they will be socially distanced. I imagine character dining and buffets will also change significantly.
We think high-touch activities like Galaxy's Edge, Savvy's Workshop, and the Droid Depot, well, they could be modified or even be put on hold. Smaller places like maybe Oga's Cantina, they're gonna have to modify how that all works. The Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where young ones are transformed into princes and princesses, well, it could undergo a COVID-19 makeover.
Disneyland's 3 hotels have been closed for some time. Only the Disney Vacation Club villas at the Grand Californian currently have an opening date right now. So will the hotels return with the parks? Will they reopen in stages? Will theme park ticket sales be tied to hotel stays? Inquiring minds want to know.
But we imagine Disney is figuring out if or how they can guarantee ticket reservations to hotel visitors. It's kind of an expected perk of staying at a Disney hotel, so I think they're going to try and figure that out before they open the hotel up to the public.
The billions lost by Disney theme parks during the pandemic could have long-term impacts on spending outlays for new themed lands and attractions. Disney cut $700 million from the budgets for new attractions around the world. But Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Disneyland were spared.
Avengers Campus, which by all reports is essentially finished, won't debut until later in 2021. Bob Chapek recently confirmed that. The pandemic has also pushed Runaway Railway's 2022 opening to 2023.
We also think Disneyland is making room for 2022 as the year that we'll see the announced Splash Mountain and Jungle Cruise makeovers happen.
It looks like Disney kept pretty busy during the downtime. Snow White's Scary Adventures got a happily ever after backstory, changing it into Snow White's Enchanted Wish. The Haunted Mansion got work done. King Arthur's Carousel underwent detailed and, from what we hear, long overlooked restoration. We made a video about the 20 projects that Disneyland worked on during the pandemic that you can check out.
Project Stardust continued its work, and the Tomorrowland and Frontierland entrances were expanded to better handle crowds.
But it's also very likely that Disney's pandemic budget cuts could push back the long-term projects or put many needed changes on hold for the foreseeable future.
The amazing Avengers Quinjet experience promised as a second phase expansion to the still unopened Marvel Land hasn't been mentioned much lately. You should check out Adventures in Design's interpretation of what this ride could be. If built, it would blow Flight of Passage out of the water and give Disneyland the highest tech ride in the country.
Now, despite the new land and all of the awesome renovations that have happened recently, Disney California Adventure still seems incomplete. Hollywoodland needs a complete overhaul, and Cars Land and Pixar Pier both have room to expand. While inside the berm at Disneyland, Tomorrowland is once again in danger of becoming yesterday's news, and the Matterhorn seems to keep having parts fall off of it.
Star Wars has a bit of a new order versus the original trilogy space issue to solve, and Galaxy's Edge could use a Galactic Star Cruiser hotel just like the one under construction at Walt Disney World. And Toontown could also use a refresh before they open a new ride in the land.
Will all this stuff happen, and when? Well, while 2020 was a disaster for Disney parks, analysts forecast that Disney and other theme park companies are going to rebound, and they're going to see significant growth beyond where they were by 2024-2025. So it's really too early to make the call if this is the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning.
We do know that things are rebounding faster than expected amid the pandemic, mainly due to Disney Plus. Disney will endeavor to create new park visitors from Disney Plus viewers and vice versa.
Already, Disney Plus has a lot of park content on it, and I think it's going to become the place where you're going to see holiday specials and fireworks and theme park content of all kinds. I think it's going to function much like ABC did for Disneyland in its infancy. And of course, the parks will soon become the home of many Disney Plus characters as the flood of new content gets unleashed.
Well, one thing's for sure. In 2023, Disneyland will host the biggest party and celebration it has ever seen. It's going to be amazing, and we can't wait.
Well, that's it for us today.
See you real soon, Mouseketeers.
See you real soon.